Hi friends, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to do part 2 in our old-fashioned desserts, and then this one is a lot of fun because we are doing 4 Jello recipes. Now these are some retro ones. This is not just a jiggly wiggly side dish, but this is a vintage superstar, and we're going to bring it back to our tables. So join me today because we are going to make an orange Jello salad. We're going to do one dish called Jello 1 2 3. It gives you 3 distinct layers in your little bowl or parfait. And then we're going to do a fruited Jello mold with 3 layers. It's looking very pretty. And then we are doing a little bit of a classic with a special ingredient that I'm not going to give away. You'll have to guess what that ingredient is. So join me for some nice jiggly fun. I remember growing up having this at summer picnics, family gatherings, potlucks, church potlucks. You were prone to see this. You were going to see this somewhere, somehow. So this is so simple. We're going to take 1 package of, this is yeah, I don't have my glasses on. Let me put my glasses. How many ounces is this? This is a whole cottage cheese. Oh, this is 16 ounces. So we're going to dump that in our bowl. And you're like, what in the world are you doing? And I think most people make it the same way. Some people start with the whipped cream, but a lot of people start with the cottage cheese, and I don't think it really matters. And you're just going to take the dry mix. You're going to use the 3-ounce package of orange Jello mix. This is the kind with the sugar in it. And I don't know if we need the whole amount for this, but let's go ahead and put it in anyway. The powder from the Jello mix, and we're going to give that a good stir. Get that dissolved. Now you can use, you don't have to do it in orange. If you want to do berry, then just substitute your mandarin oranges. Oh, look at that bright color. Whoa. It'll tone down because we're going to put our whipped cream. And literally, if you were asked to bring dessert to your next summer picnic, this, and you're got a busy schedule, this is a great recipe. All right, so we've got that good and mixed. We want to make sure that Jello is dissolved in there because we don't want it gritty. And then we'll go ahead. Now I have 2 cans of drained mandarin oranges, and I'm going to I want to save some of these smaller ones. 1 can had a larger pieces. I want to save some for my toppings. So, like I said, we have 2 cans. I'll have to take a look at what ounces they are. And you want to drain that because you don't want your Jello salad to be soupy. And just be careful now when you put the orange segments in because you don't want to pulverize them. They mush down a little bit. That's okay. And we're going to take 2 cups of whipped topping. Let's see. Here's my half cup. So we'll put 4 of these in. Now you can use Cool Whip, and that I can recommend in the fact of it's a more stabilized whipped topping. If you make homemade, it's a lot thinner and it doesn't keep up as well as, because right, the Cool Whip has stabilizers in there. But if you want to go more natural, I mean, of course we have all this sugar here, but it's not the greatest for you. But anyway, if we can cut down in certain areas that we don't mind, I think that works out pretty nicely. Now here, my homemade whipped topping, I started with about 6 ounces of cream cheese, beat that till it was nice and creamy, and then I added in 2 cups of heavy cream, a little bit of sugar and a little bit of vanilla extract. So let's go ahead and fold that in. Some people add little mini marshmallows to this. You can do that if you like. Our family doesn't prefer it. They don't like it that sweet, so. I mean, this is as simple as it gets. Let's see. I might add a little more whipped cream to it. But you put this in the refrigerator, let it refrigerate for a couple of hours at least, or you can do it overnight. You know, make it before you go to bed, put it in the fridge, and bring it to the picnic or covered dish. It's usually those tubs of Cool Whip. I think they're about 16 ounces, so I think this is probably equivalent. Now, if you're bringing it to a picnic, you could just bring it like that. Or if you're going to serve it at home and you want to be a little fun. Oh, let me see. I got a dessert. We can use a little parfait. I think this is actually a champagne type of little. And let's put a couple of we could do one. You could put a little mint leaf. You could put a little maraschino cherries on there. Let's try it. Let me get a spoon. A little spoon. There we go. Yeah, let's give it a try. We could put, like I said, you could put a little mint leaf on there. That would be pretty, but bon appetit. Did I get whipped cream on me? Sure enough. It's just how I remembered it. And it tastes better when it sits for a couple hours. But it's still good. Let's have some fun with our Jello. I'm being silly. I know. How easy. How easy. There you go. So let's go on to our other Jello recipes. Getting into our fun retro desserts. We are ready to go on to our next segment of retro Jello, and this one is one called Jello 1, 2, 3. It gives you 3 distinct layers of your Jello, and it should be very festive. So let's start out. We're gonna do a blueberry, or not a blueberry, berry blue. I think it's different berries, but we're going to use 6 ounces. And we're going to use about 3 cups of boiling hot water. Let me get that off my tea kettle. I've got one of those electric tea kettles. It matches with my KitchenAid and my little mini chopper. So we need 3 cups, and we're going to dissolve that completely. Now this 1, 2, 3 Jello, I see it all over on YouTube and different recipe channels, and I never had this. I don't think I ever had this, but I looked at it and I'm like, this is too fun. I have to do this. So we got the 2. Let's go ahead and get one more. And we'll see if I have enough little parfait containers to make this all. We have 1 cup. Yep. And some people say you should have this like for about 2 minutes. But my water was very, very hot. And we'll just dissolve this. We'll wait about 1 minute. And we're going to add our whipped topping to that. Okay, we're just about got this completely dissolved, and now we're going to add some whipped topping. Now you can have prepared Cool Whip. Most recipes do that. So hopefully mine will turn out okay because I made homemade. I made this with cream cheese. It's a more sturdier type of whipped topping because when you make it homemade with just the heavy cream, it's a little bit lighter. So I thought we needed, I've got about 2 cups here. So as I was stirring my Jello, and let me tell you, I've been really enjoying this segment on Jello because I think you start to think about summer picnics, and it's not about the food. The food is fun because I have a food and cooking channel mostly, but back to home, I like the thing about being back to home with Doreen is I really like connecting with those memories of just spending time. You can see how fast this is melting up in here because it's good and hot. And now we've got a lot lighter blue. But yeah, I was saying all that to say I take the long way home. Hopefully you don't mind the stroll. But I was thinking of some of my most memorable picnics. Of course, going to the lake with family. That was just so much fun. And you get to see family members. Sometimes, I think maybe back when I was growing up in the 60s and the 70s, we didn't see family as much. You only saw them a few times a year at holidays, at summer picnics. And so it was a special treat. So I was thinking about one picnic when I was a little kid. Myself and my cousins, we were at my aunt and uncle's house, and they had a little slope on their front yard. And the kids always would roll down the hill. They would, get on your side, and we'd see who could roll down the hill the quickest. That was fun. Fun memories. So. And you'd hear all the stories, the family stories. And you'd hear them every year after year, but you'd still laugh, and they were so funny. It's just nice to have those special memories of family. And maybe you're like, okay, Doreen, I didn't have all those great memories, but you can make your own. I mean, I think at certain times, families go through, all right, I gotta stop my thought here for a minute, but we're gonna pour these into these little, got these at Costco, and I forget what, there was some kind of dessert in there, and I'm like, hello, I'm gonna save those. Those are so super cute. Now we're gonna pour this in here. Be careful. We'll see how many we can get. Woo! But anyways, I was saying families go through hard times, and sometimes you're like, okay, is my life going to be, we're saving a little on the top for the whipped topping. Is my life ever going to be any different, better? It can start with you. You decide, what? I want to make family memories. I'm going to host the summer barbecue. And not like in a judgmental way, like, oh, what terrible family I have and everything. But I think how you see things as a kid and when you grow up is like, oh, we got plenty here. You see things differently. Sometimes when you're a kid, you're like, oh, why did my parents make this stupid decision? And when you get older, you're like, oh, okay. Give them a little bit of grace. They're just trying to figure it out too. But anyways, you can make a change. If you don't have some happy family memories, you be the one to start it. Be the legacy. Because life isn't, it's not very fulfilling if we're just living it on our phones or through TV. I mean, yes, I'm doing this on my phone. I'm coming to you, you're watching it, but I'm hoping to motivate you to want to do something with your family. But anyway, oh, are those so stinking cute? So they're gonna go into 3 different layers. We're gonna put these in the refrigerator. They have to be in there a couple of hours at least, and I got a little bit of leftover. I might use this for a Jello ring. So anyways, like I said, you want to leave a little spot on the top to put your whipped topping. So let's get these in the fridge, and when they're all done their thing, I'll show you. So our little parfaits, our Jello 1, 2, 3s are totally set. Aren't those so cute? I don't know if you could see. I can see the 3 layers. These ones, the 2, I think it's barely noticeable here on the camera. Let's see if I can show any of the other ones. Yeah, you can see it a little bit. I don't know, can you see it through the camera? I don't think you can. I can barely see it. There's not a huge distinction between this one, but then we'll put a little white whipped cream on the top. Those are super cute. Super, super cute. We will get some pictures of those. But they're so cute. And I'm glad I saved these little containers. Why wouldn't I? From Costco. I'm trying to remember what dessert was in there, but totally cute for this kind of thing. So it's my new favorite thing. So how can we do a retro Jello segment without a Jello mold? And that's what we're going to do next. So I'm taking a 6-ounce pack of a strawberry Jello. You can use cherry or raspberry, but I want this to be a little bit red, white, and blue, or there won't be, only white will be whipped cream. But we're going to take that 6 ounces and we're going to put, let's see, a cup and a half, I think. Let me double check my notes. I had to check my notes. I'm making so many Jello things. I'm like, what do I need? So we need a cup and a half of boiling water. So let's see over here. A tad more. And we're going to mix that in and totally dissolve that. That would take a couple of minutes. So growing up, definitely Jello molds were the thing. And I've got one of these old kind. This is, okay, I probably got this like as a wedding gift or something. Tupperware, right? We all know, we all have these. I have the little one. I have this big one. So what you're going to do is you want to totally grease this, the inside. You can take some cooking spray and spray it. I used some coconut oil and greased it up real good. That way you won't have any problem with it sliding out. So let's dissolve this and we'll be back in a second. We've got the Jello good and dissolved. So let's go ahead and add our fruit. Now I've got about 8 to 10 ounces of crushed pineapple and the juice. I'm going to put that right in there. And then we're going to add some frozen red raspberries. And maybe I'll use some strawberries and blueberries to decorate the outside, because I want this to be like a patriotic triple. Yeah, we're using triple berry and the strawberry. So I'm going to use about half of this. And you can use frozen strawberries like in the juice. This doesn't have the juice, so I used about half the bag, maybe a little bit more than half the bag. I'm going to give that a good stir. And that's going to give it a quick gel. So we'll stir this for a minute and then we'll put it in the mold. I gave this a good stir and it's close to a soft set, but not quite there. So before we actually put it in the mold, let's go ahead and we're going to drain the fruit out. And Probably like an easier way. If I had a bigger sieve, we're just kind of pressing some of the juice out. Actually, you know what? Let's use this spatula. That will work better. It's like, I wonder if I could do it over this cup. Let me put this in a separate bowl. Let's see what works the best. That's probably the longest part of this whole thing. That's why Jello molds are nice. You know, if you're asked to bring the dessert to picnic, hello, this is pretty easy, right? It is very easy, and you get, it's fun looking. You know, and sometimes you don't want a heavy dessert like pie or cake. Of course, I haven't met. I don't think I've met a pie or a cake I didn't like, but but anyways. But sometimes you don't want a heavy dessert. So this is like ticks the boxes, as they say, because you get fruity, fresh, cool, yummo. Okay. We pretty much got most of it. Yeah, that's good. But quite a bit, a little bit of fluid. I say quite a bit. Messy. Let's stick this over here. All right, so we need about 1 cup, and I do need my glasses for this. We need 1 cup of this liquid we're going to set aside. There we go. So we got 1 cup of that. And let's put our fruit back in here. Be careful. Just splatter it. Oh, that smells so yummy. When are we going to come out with smell-o-vision? Oh, scrape this down. Let's mix that up. Like I said, let me just show you what I did, but because I already greased it. But I just took this and I went through each little part and greased that really well. The bottom and then along the sides. So this is greased really well. And we're going to pour our fruited layer first. You want to make sure your bottom is secured good, because I have made the mistake of not checking it before and exploding out the back or the bottom. That's a bummer, especially if you don't realize it right away and you get it in the fridge and you're like, got Jello, sticky Jello all over the racks and all over your food. So that's pretty much what it looks like. We're going to put the lid on. We're going to put this in the fridge, and I'm going to put it on a plate because I've had it happen a couple of times and I haven't made a Jello mold in a while. So I'm going to put a plate under there, get it in the fridge, probably chill for like an hour, and give us enough time to clean up and do the next step of this. We've had our Jello ring in the refrigerator for about an hour, and that's firming up really great. So now we're going to put our next layer. And I forgot to mention, this is holds about 5 cups. So let's see how we're going to do, because I definitely want 3 layers. I think one side is a little higher than the other. I tried to get it as level as possible. Probably should have mixed this. Now this is definitely at room temperature. And I'm not going to use all of it because I feel like I just need a little bit more space. Let's see if I can. So we definitely want that next ring. So got a tiny bit left. Back in the fridge. I'm thinking maybe 40 minutes. And we could probably put that next. So we'll see you back in 40 minutes. We are ready to put the next layer into our Jello mold. I've got that remaining Jello, and that's been at room temperature. And you can see, and I didn't even know this, at room temperature it gels up a little bit. So we're going to take about 1 cup of sour cream and we're going to add that to this layer. So we're going to have multicolored Jello mold just like we want. Let's get that stirred in here. I might need a whisk. I did put one aside just in case. Yeah, I'm going to use the whisk. I think it'll be a little more efficient and probably would help if I had a bigger bowl. But I didn't want to dirty another dish. I had this mixture in here. So let's just see if we can make do. So we're going to incorporate this really well. Mix that up, and then we're going to pour that layer onto what we've already got gelled. It doesn't take long. And actually my sour cream was cold, but you can see how it's lightened up in color. You do want that, you don't want any chunks of sour cream, so make sure you mix that well. So I've been mixing that for about a minute. Make sure there's no sour cream chunks, and this is setting up pretty nice. Can you see it? So we don't have much room left, and I suspect that we might not be able to fill this all in here. So we'll just put it in another little dish if we can't put it all in here. Maybe we can. Well, I think we're just gonna do it. You don't want it to go over that little insert in there because it won't be level, but yeah, we did it. This is gonna be so pretty. So this is probably gonna take another hour or so. Definitely if you're gonna make this for a picnic, I would make it the day before. Or if you're having some picnic at night, you know, like 5 o'clock or something, and then you've got the day off, you can make that earlier in the day and it'll be ready. But I think it's better if you do it the day before. So let's get that in the fridge and we'll see how it turns out. All right, let's take that Jello mold out. Let's see, did it totally set? Yep, it's totally set. It's pretty. It's going to be pretty. So what you'll do is just put your that plate on there, flip it over, and then you're going to take this little, oh, you can't see that good. Let me bend my camera a little bit. There you go. See how it's nice and secure on the plate. Then we're going to take this little center out, and that's going to help release it. Just be careful. You don't have to be in a rush. Oh, it looks cute. And it's falling right out of into place. Ah! Little things in life make me happy. Now look at that. So we've got the dark red. This would be great for a gender reveal, wouldn't it? Because the shades of the blue and the pink. I'm giving you some ideas, huh? That is so stinking cute. I haven't made a Jello mold in a while, so it's fun. So I rinsed off some berries, and if you want to dress it up a little bit, because this is for Memorial Day, so I definitely want to have plenty of blueberries. Let's put a few here. And then for our white, of course, our whipped cream, which I have to make more because I used it all on my... I might bring this into work tomorrow. And let's put another little berry there. Oh, stinking cute. We could put a couple of berries in the middle. We could put we could put whipped cream in the middle. I wish I saved a dollop of whipped cream. So I gotta take some photos, so. We'll see. I'll take pictures with and without, but there we go. So we've got our nice Jello mold for 4th of July, Memorial Day. So this batch of Jello is just like how my mom made, just a regular box, your favorite flavor. Today I'm using strawberry. Just using one small container. This is a 3-ounce container. We're going to use 1 cup of boiling water. Now I just put this through my teapot, actually twice, because I was going to do this smidgen earlier and then it cooled down a little bit. But we've got 1 cup of very hot water. You want to make sure it's boiling because that's going to help dissolve that sugar really quick. And you're going to stir that. We're going to just stir that till we dissolve. Now this, we could add fruit. We could add Cool Whip after, after we dissolve it. And there's a little method for that. But this is just going to be good old-fashioned Jello. And one thing I found out about Jello, so you know how in the hospital, that's one of the things they always give you after you've had a surgery. Well, I guess the collagen, I read this, I don't remember when I read this, but it was not way long ago, that the collagen really helps you to heal, and that's one of the reasons why they give you Jello. Now, I suppose the nutritionist at the hospital knows that, and that's why it's been a staple for years. Of course, I haven't been in the hospital in a long time, thank the Lord, but I know my mom's been in there in the last year, and I'm pretty sure Jello was still on that menu. So this is just about dissolved. Got a little bit in the corner here, and I'm just keeping it stirring, move it around and make sure. So then you can just put 1 cup of very cold water, but I chose to do like a quick set. So we've probably got about 6 ice cubes here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I guess we got 5. Probably should get 1 more out. And you're gonna stir this until it melts. And this just quick sets your Jello, so you can have it a little sooner. And then any of the ice cubes that don't, now the box usually recommends like 6 to 8. And then if you have any leftover pieces, you just pull them out so you don't have a piece of ice in there. I'm gonna get, I think this is gonna be all right, the 5. I'm just stirring that until it melts. But I remember growing up, this was just a simple dessert that we had on a rotation. Like if you've seen any of my other videos, and that's why I'm doing the series on old-fashioned desserts, is because, we used to have dessert a few times a week. I don't know if we had it every night. I can't remember my memory for that. But I would almost say we had it every night because I really remember that ritual. I remember us having, a little dish of pudding, a little slice of cake or pie or apple crisp or cobbler or strawberry shortcake, which I'm going to be doing soon because we've got to have that in our list because that's a fond memory. And then just a simple dish of Jello. And there's something a little special that we do to our Jello that you might think is a little odd, but that's the way we rolled back in the 60s and 70s. The 1960s and 70s. So that's completely melted. I'm just going to put a lid on. put that in the refrigerator. It's probably going to be a couple of hours before it sets. And we got a yummy old-fashioned dessert. Yum, Jello. Our Jello has set. Oh, that was quick and easy. The same day. And so there's this little secret ingredient my mom always put, but I know it was a thing back in the 60s and the 70s, was milk. Yes, they would add milk to the Jello. We're dishing it up. I'm going to scoop it up. I'm just trying to make it look a little bit nicer for the camera, but oh, let's use a knife to get that in there. But I don't know if this stemmed from the tradition of putting milk in it, if people didn't have whipped cream. But yeah, it's a thing. I can remember many a night having a dish of Jello and you pour a little cold milk. Of course, it's whole milk. Now, I kind of wonder, I need to do research on it. I can't prove it, but when I was a little girl, we used to have a milkman. Who out there remembers that? Put that in the comment. A little milk bottle is emoji in there. Anyway, yeah. They would, we would have a milkman and he'd come and deliver milk. And I don't remember how often it was. I'm sure probably every couple times a week at least. So back then, the milk bottles, they had like a bit of milk fat right on the top. And you mix, you would give a good shaking to the milk or pour it in a pitcher and just stir up that fat. So back in the day, I think the milk was a lot creamier and richer. And so I could see maybe that's why it started with that. But here we are. I'm just going to pour a little milk on there. Oh my gosh, I haven't had this in so long. I don't know if I've ever tried it with my kids or not, but probably not. There's so many fancy desserts nowadays. Sometimes you just want something old school. So let's try it. Yum, it's good. It's really good. And then you'd eat the Jello, and by the time you're done, sometimes your milk would turn whatever color Jello, and you drink the milk. Getting in touch with my inner kid. So if you remember this dessert, leave me a message in the comment.